Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. This particular one is a request from me again. I've only had one request over the weekend. The less I say about it, the better. So much so that that's as far as I'm going on that subject. But for this one, we've got a couple of debuts, the route and the loco. So the route, we are on the Birmingham Cross City line, or the route DLC anyway, and we are going to be doing pretty much the whole thing. So we're starting at Lichfield. The station is specifically Lichfield Trent Valley. Doesn't take a genius to work out why it's called that. So that's up in the northern end of this particular line. Our destination is Bromsgrove. Well, once you get to, I think it's just past Longbridge, the line splits. And yeah, we are taking the west, the westerly of the two branches. So yeah, Bromsgrove is our final destination. Now we are doing a freight run, so there are going to be no stops along the way. But even so, I don't think we're going to be just absolutely breezing through this. I guess we'll find out fairly soon. And yeah, as far as the loco, we're going back to the early 60s. We are in the class 14. Yeah, very different kind of diesel loco compared to any of the previous ones we've driven in this game so far. So yeah, the one we're driving is in BR Blue. It only has 4 wagons. I mean, the class 14 was only meant to be a light freight train anyway. I mean, it is only a type 1, so yeah, it is going to be quite light no matter what. And for the specifics, it is summer, weather is clear, and it's 10 AM. So let's get this one up and running. And here we are, and the first thing you can see is that the view from the cab of this thing is not the best, to put it mildly. What makes it even worse is none of the controls are in front of us, they're off to the side. So yeah, if you were playing this without the HUD, then good luck to you. Right, first thing we're going to do is put the cab light on, because it's really dark in here. Next thing is to sort out the lights. They make a hell of a difference actually. If I just, I'll switch them off. We'll take a look outside. So here is our class 14. Okay, so at the moment the lights are off. Let's switch them on. That is it. I mean, yeah, what a difference that makes. Jesus Christ. Right, now, as far as the rest of the setup goes, that is pretty much it. So, right, reverser is set to forward. The controls are pretty unusual. Master controls, I can only assume that is because, yeah, this is the train brake handle here. So this must be the actual like throttle control. This is the reverser, but for some reason it's called a power handle. In fact, I may have got them the wrong way round. I think this is the reverser and this is the actual throttle. So, and windscreen wiper controls, which thankfully we are not going to need. Yeah, right there. I mean, you can see the dirt on the window, so you can see the small area that this actually does. I mean, it's possible it could be even more useless than the windscreen wiper on the 506. So, the train, yeah, it is quite small. It is only 4 wagons. The last one of those is a brake wagon. And yeah, let's be honest, this is a route that this train would never have taken. It was never going to go through the middle of you know, Birmingham. So our destination is just over 32 miles away. Let's get underway. We start on we start on a 60 mph section, but you can see that it's not long before it goes down to 25. Admittedly only very briefly, and that's because we're going over points. We're going to have quite a lot of external views this time, because I have this, I know it's a bit of a weird sort of request that I have from when I'm playing these games, but I like to be able to see where I'm going. So we're over the points, we're back onto a 60, take it up to max. There's only 3 notches on the throttle here, and yeah, we just can't see where the fuck we're going. You have to sort of lean out the window. So yeah, not a particularly long old gap between Lichfield Trent Valley and Lichfield City station itself, and the top speed, it goes down to 20 as we are approaching that station. Like I say, we are not stopping anywhere along the way. I think it's also fair to say this is not going to be the most scenic of routes, considering that for large parts of it we are going right the way through Birmingham city centre. Anyway, we've slowed down a bit too much here, so let's get ourselves up to 20 at least. So there we have a class 323. And class 323s are not a rare sight on this line at all. Class 14, that is a rare sight on this line. So, Lichfield Station. We are still north of Birmingham at this point. Of course, we're not actually in Birmingham itself. Well, unless you consider Lichfield to be part of Birmingham, which I certainly don't, because we're north of snobby Sutton Coldfield. So, yeah, we're certainly not in Birmingham yet. We have another class 323 where, yeah, we're not going to have any shortage of those things as we are going along on this particular route. We'll very soon be able to accelerate up to 45. There we go. Well, I say we will be able to accelerate up to 45. That's that would be quite impressive, actually. Yeah. So the Class 14 is a Type 1. It weighs. It's actually quite light for a locomotive. I think it weighs somewhere in the region of 48 tons. And its engine generates, wait for it, the vast total of 650 horsepower. I did say it was the Type 1. So despite the fact that it is light by loco standards, the 650 horsepower engine means that this thing has a top speed of 40. Now initially I was going to do this run on either of the North London networks or even the South London network, but they both seemed a bit too short for me. And so in the end, yeah, I plumped for this. I don't think I've chosen a bad one, actually. So line speed has actually gone up to 55 and it's about to go up again to 60. But because of the weight of the you know, the huge 4 wagons that we are pulling, I think we are pretty much topped out here at 38 mph. Oh, I'll say that, we're off again. We're up to 39. We must have been on an incline or something. But yeah, the view from within the cab is, well, it's atrocious to the point of almost being laughable. So we're now going downhill on a 1 in 100, so we're able to actually get up to, well, we're almost hitting 42 mph. There we go, 42. So Shenstone station is next. You can clearly see we are not actually in Birmingham yet. We still got a little way to go. Now, I don't know if that is the M6 that we've just crossed over there. It was a pretty I don't know why it's saying DVD is active, because we don't have, there's no AWS in this thing. So why it was telling us there that DVD was active, I have no idea. There aren't any such yeah, systems in place in this thing. So the Class 14 was built in 1963, late 63, as we go through Shenstone station. It's not a bad station actually, that one. And it went into service in 1964. And to put it mildly, it had a very short service life. fact, the withdrawals of it started in 1968, and by 1970 they were all either in private hands or scrapped. Now you may be thinking that the reason for that is that they were just hopeless, but no. In fact, when it comes to the role that they were built for, they were great. Their reliability was pretty good. It wasn't fantastic, but it was not terrible. We're not talking class 56 levels. But the dates might give you a bit of a clue as to why this thing had such a short life. It was built very specifically to do freight runs on short branch lines where, you know, it was not going to be bulk amounts of freight being shifted. It's just like for, you know, locals from one end of their branch to the other. Could also do shunting duties as well, and I mean, let's face it, the thing looks like a rather, well, barely glorified shunter. So yeah, shunting duties, you know, it had no problem with. But yeah, it entered service in '64, and not long after that, a certain arsehole by the name of Dr. Beeching came along, and the vast majority of the branch lines that this thing was built to operate on all got the chop. So BR had a train that was good at its job and had been designed very specifically for that particular job, and now that job was gone. So Blake Street station coming up next. Have a speed decrease to 50 mph as we approach here. That's well, yeah, it's not even worth thinking about. But it does go back up to 60 once we pass Blake Street station, so you know, it's not all bad. We're currently on a 1 in 100 uphill climb, which is why we've dropped down a bit to 38 mph. And it's still dropping, but not by a hell of a lot. So, yep, here we are at Blake Street Station. It's quite the sort of like suburban, it doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's not fantastic, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad anyway. Now with this view, yeah, it's gonna take us a little while to actually get past, but here we go. So the other thing that you can clearly see is that this did not follow any of the standard design as far as diesels were concerned. It's an 060 wheel configuration, again very much like a shunter. So we are now approaching, see again, it's insisting that DVD is active. There isn't one. Anyway, yeah, Butler's Lane Station, we're just going through there. Next station coming up in just under a mile is Four Oaks. Obviously not quite up there with Kent's Seven Oaks. Around Birmingham they could only manage 4. On a 1 in 100 downhill section here. Don't think we are going to be able to get up to the lofty heights of 45 mph, although in about 3/4 of a mile that will be the line speed. We are currently in a 55 mph zone as we approach Four Oaks station. But as we approach Sutton Coldfield, we've got to drop down to 35 mph. And I mean, we are still increasing speed. We could, theoretically, on this 1 in 100 section, end up getting a speeding ticket, or speeding operational error. Now, I don't really want that, because even though it would certainly be a badge of honour for someone driving a class 14 to get a speeding error, I don't really want too many more speeding errors. I already get plenty of them as I do these runs. Really picking up speed actually as we continue down this slope here. There's this fairly short tunnel as we approach Sutton Coldfield station. So it is quite a snobby place, this. I mean, they do insist on calling it the Royal Town of Sutton Coldfield. In fact, I think it's now the Royal Borough of Sutton Coldfield, which suggests that Birmingham is fast sort of encroaching on it, and it's now become part of Birmingham itself. Anyway, we're now into a 60 zone, having passed through Sutton Coldfield station, so let's get up to max throttle, because that's going to make all the difference. Currently up to 33, as Wild Green is the next station we'll be heading through. And we are eating through the miles at a reasonable rate, I suppose. I mean, we've done 10 miles. So we're not doing that badly. In case you're thinking that the cab looks like it's right slap bang in the middle, no it's not. It is offset slightly, so there is a very distinguishable front section and rear section. But there was one diesel loco that did have that design. The front and rear were exactly the same lengths. They were the same lengths as the front section here, with the cab right slap bang in the middle. That was the class 17. That loco enjoys the distinction of being widely considered the worst loco to ever operate on the UK rail network. I think they're right, actually. That said, I wish it was in the game. I'd love to see it. So here we are at Wild Green Station, very much in the sort of outer reaches of Birmingham itself. Well, we have actually made it up to 40 mph now, so that's not bad going. And we're now on another downhill section. I think this downhill section could end up getting fairly steep. There's one in 107. So, yep, Chester Road station right here. And Erdington station, certainly not far, not much further up along the lines that you can already see it. So, like I said at the start, this loco would never have done this particular route. I do have a couple of routes that I think this loco certainly would have done. The problem is they're either too short or they are too slow. Even with this loco, they were still too slow. So in the end I thought, okay, we'll choose a route that I think, you know, will be long enough to really sort of like show this thing and not have to endure with it being too short, and not so long as to be staggeringly boring. And so yeah, in the end I went with this one. I mean, if there was any freight runs needed, I mean, admittedly this, I mean, you can clearly see it's not a lot of freight. This is fairly standard of the sort of freight runs that the full team would do. It's just, you know, going from one there's nothing happening in here, so all this DVD active. No, it's not active. Anyway, as I say, yeah, so you imagine, well, let's say if it's like my area, you know, on the Fenchurch Street line. So it would be doing runs like, say, from Southend East, a small local station, as you go through Gravelly Hill station here. So it'd be going from somewhere like that to somewhere like Langdon or West Horndon. So again, another small local station that would need some sort of like supplies, because yeah, access to or from it is not brilliant. So, you know, they're reliant on the railways to bring in whatever supplies they need. So in fact, West Horndon would have been the best example of that, because it's a pissant little nothing of a place that's right stuck out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, we need to start slowing down a bit because the line speed drops to 40 as we are approaching Aston. Aston, of course, the home of Black Sabbath, and birthplace of the one and only Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. We are fine now, but we are going to have to slow down some more. 20 mph on the approach there suggests we may be going over points. So speed is now fine. In fact, it's a bit more than fine. Yeah, we can actually speed up a little bit. It looks like we have a Class 67. So yeah, I mean, this is highly unlikely. Class 67 carrying that much freight on this line. It would be, well, it would be getting onto the West Coast main line at the earliest possible opportunity. So now that we are in Aston, so we are very much in Birmingham now. I wonder if the villa's ground is anywhere to be seen. We're now in the 45, actually no, we're now in the 30 zone, but yeah, we can get some speed up. I thought we might have been able to spot Aston Villa Football Club ground, but I couldn't see it. Holy shit! Speeding error. I must have got the timing wrong, because I thought we were entering a 70 mph zone. Well, we were, and that is where we are now, but so Dudderston is the next station. So we're now about halfway. So there's even a Vauxhall area here. Not quite the same as the London one, but there you go. So, Dudderston Station, very small and utterly forgettable. So line speed comes down to 50 pretty soon. And it then comes down to 30. We've got a very steep section here, 1 in 50 uphill climb. That will certainly help bring our speed down. It's not going to bring it all the way down though. We have a 323. There's another 67 there. Very unlikely. Look at this, what a glorious sight. Wonderful scenic views of Birmingham as we approach New Street station. So, I mean, the ball ring must be fairly close around here. We're now on a 1 in 42 downhill section. We've got to start braking to stop us from, yeah, breaking that speed limit. There we go. So yeah, it'd be great if we could see like the ball ring and Moore Street station, which is right on the outskirts, but I think we are coming from just the wrong sort of angle. I think no, that's part of New Street. So Moore Street is going to be somewhere over here, I think. But yeah, there's no sign of it. Right, so another rather steep section as we coming into New Street itself. Just realised I've really got to slam on the brakes now. We've got to be doing 10 mph through a lot of this. I'm nowhere near that yet. So 1 in 66 downhill. It's steep enough. So we are in that 10 mph section now. The ground has thankfully levelled out. We go through one of the few open air parts of New Street here. Now we're into the somewhat dingy part. And class 350. No shortage of those around Birmingham. You would have thought that they would have come up with a way of being able to bypass New Street. But nope. The few open air sections around here, but we are fast approaching this tunnel which forces the view change. We're now in a 20 zone, so we can get some max throttle, really open up that 650 horsepower engine of ours. Well, it was a nice velocity. Now, the trouble is, we're on a 1 in 64 uphill climb. So if we're going to try and maintain our speed, yeah, we really can't do it. We're now approaching a 30 mph section, which we're now in. So again, open up the taps, unleash all 650 horsepower. Approaching the end of Canal Tunnel, and then we immediately go into Granville Tunnel, which is quite a short one. And then once we're out of there, we're into Bath Road Tunnel, and then Bath Road Tunnel dead ahead. Then we have Five Ways station. But it's not quite as bad as the you know, entrance and exit from Liverpool Lime Street, but still not particularly welcoming, the exit point of New Street there. And we're speeding again. You know, that's 2 of them I've got. So I got that speeding error while we were going up a 1 in 64, yeah, uphill. That's I'm almost proud of that. Anyway, we are now entering a 50 zone, and we're now in it, so now we can really max out our speed. I don't know what canal this is that's right next to us here. Maybe someone who knows Birmingham a bit better can tell us. There's no shortage of canals in Birmingham. Was it the Venice of the North, they like to call it? Yeah, I think that's being a bit optimistic, mate. The thing is, I don't actually dislike Birmingham. It's nothing like the kind of shithole that, you know, Liverpool and Manchester are. Yeah, I've got no problem with Birmingham. I think it's all right. So University Station is next. Now I have been through all of these particular stations before, because I did do a career scenario in a 323. I did really well right up to the moment where I got an instant game over for going through a red light and scoring 0. I'll leave you to imagine how thrilled I was by that. I wish it wouldn't keep doing that, but so here is University Station. I don't know when that station went up, but I'm guessing it's a relatively recent one. Again, the game insisting that my DVD system is going off. Finally cross over the canal that we have been following for a fair old while. So, Selly Oak Station right here, a very archetypal, you know, commuter station. Absolutely no frills whatsoever. For all I know, there are some pretty impressive landmarks around here, and of course, because I'm not familiar with the city at all, I couldn't tell you any of them. Bourneville is coming up next. Now, is that as in the chocolate factory? Because I thought Bourneville, with regards to, you know, the Cadbury's Bourneville, was its own place. I didn't think it was part of Birmingham. See what that is up ahead. Looks like 323. It is in the Bourneville station. We have a speed decrease coming up just at the head of the rather short Kings Norton tunnel, but that speed decrease is to 45, so we don't really have too much to worry about there. But well, I thought there was a 30 after it. It appears not. But there is a 90 that comes after it. I think it is fair to say that is not going to be... yeah, we're not going to trouble that one. We can't even do half that. But you know what? Despite the fact that this train is slow and does not have a lot of power, I do like the 14. It's one of those sort of like plucky little ones that is able to outperform everyone's expectations. It does exactly what it was designed for, and it was not the fault of the designers or BR that it didn't get the chance to actually carry out what it was designed for very long. So Kings Norton Station, I think it's still operational, but we are on an avoiding line. So on a very flat section here, as we pass another 66. It's almost like a railway drag strip. Come on, Mr. 66, I'll take you on in a race, providing I get a head start of here. Basically, we're very much on the southern edge of Birmingham now. Didn't catch what that station was, but again we're on the avoiding line, so it also looks like we're on a line that is very specifically for diesels. In this section, yeah, the two outermost lines are still electrified, but these two inner ones are not. Doesn't really make a great deal of sense to me for them to do that. Are there that many diesel trains going through southern Birmingham that this is deemed necessary? I wouldn't have thought so. If you're going to electrify the two outer ones, you may as well do the two inner ones as well. Yeah, I don't get that at all. So Longridge is next. The only thing I remember about Longridge, this is where, now was it British Leyland itself was, or is this just where the Rover factory was? See, now this area, yeah, all four lines are electrified again. So anyway, that was Longridge Station. But Bromsgrove is now only 6 miles away. Got through this a lot quicker than I thought it would be, actually. According to our ETA, we are just some 12 minutes away. Still insisting that DVD is going off there. I'll just remind you, this loco does not have any driver vigilance system of any kind. It does not have any AWS system of any kind. There's nothing like that. Definitely out of Birmingham now. Well, at least, I mean, it certainly looks like we are out of Birmingham now, but I've always thought Bromsgrove is a part of Birmingham. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it is part of Birmingham in the same way that Solihull is part of Birmingham. For so long it wasn't, and then as Birmingham grew and grew and grew, it just sort of like swallowed it up, sort of thing. So Barnt Green is the next station. Can't have that many stations to go now. Looks like quite a nice area, this. So this is where, yeah, obviously the split is. Can't remember what is, yeah, where you're heading if you're going down that part there. Is it Redditch? I think it is. But we are not going down that part. We are heading, yeah, we are continuing onwards to Bromsgrove. Another 323. Well, the fact that all four, oh, no, all three lines now are electrified means that that section around Longbridge, where, yeah, the two central lines were not electrified, makes even less sense. Right, so we're on a 1 in 38 downhill section. Jesus Christ, this is properly steep. Well, this is surely going to be the fastest this thing has gone on this entire route. I was not expecting a gradient this steep anywhere on this route. Bromsgrove station is now on the route display. I think 47.5 is us. No, it's not us, absolutely topped out. I don't think we're going to hit 50, in fact I'm certain of it. But this is absolutely the fastest we have done for this entire journey. Trouble is, I'm going to have to start braking while we are still on this downhill section. This is not going to help our this is not going to help our braking in the slightest. still, it could be worse. Imagine trying to get up this thing. Yeah, 323 approaching. Now the 323 wouldn't have too much problems getting up here, but yeah, we are not in. And there we are, we've made it to 52 mph. But now I've got to start braking. Almost made it to 53. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, 323 would have no problem getting up here, but yeah, this is not a 323. So, full service brakes very much on. I'm braking at 92%. Okay, we can ease off with that now. Yeah, what are you supposed to do with that view? So there we are. That was, yep, our freight run from Lichfield Trent Valley to Bromsgrove, going right the way through the heart of Birmingham in the Class 14. And I thought that was a great run, that. Yeah, the Class 14, very small, very sort of like underpowered loco, but as far as doing the job it was designed for, it was absolutely fine. Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job of that. So there we are, the debut of the Class 14 and the debut of the Birmingham Cross City Route DLC. So that is this video done, and we'll see you at the next one.